Hi everyone, in today's video I'm customizing a 16-ounce glass can using adhesive vinyl. I'm using a design from Creative Fabrica, and I'll also show you how I converted this SVG file so I could use it in Silhouette Studio. So this is the glass can I'm going to be using, and I'm going to take the measurements, the circumference and the height. So once I'm done taking the measurements for the glass, I'm going to use some rubbing alcohol to clean the glass. And I'm going to set it aside. So this is the design I'm going to be using. This design came as an SVG file, but since I don't have the business version of Silhouette Studio, I can't open SVG files directly. So what I did was upload the design into Inkscape, and then I saved it as a DXF file. So right here I'm just gonna save this file and download it as a DXF file. So I'm just making sure everything is in the right size, and then I downloaded it. So right here on my screen, the green file is the DXF file. So I'm gonna open Silhouette Studio and I'm gonna upload the DXF file that I just downloaded. So this is the file, and this is what it looks like right now because I downloaded it as a DXF file. You can see there are no colors, but the lines are well defined and they're gonna cut out really nicely. This is why SVG files are usually preferred for cutting. So next I'm just gonna select all of this and I'm gonna create a compound path, meaning I'm gonna make sure that all these shapes are separated from each other and I can work with them individually. So as you can see, I'm selecting all the hearts and I'm gonna work with those individually. But before I did that, I noticed that one of the hearts was not well shaped, so I had to delete that and duplicate this one so that I could move it to replace the other one. And once that was done, I had to go back to selecting all the hearts again because I wanted to work with the hearts. So I'm just gonna go ahead and select all the hearts right here. I'm just gonna speed up that process. And once that was done, I'm gonna group them together and move them aside. So I'm gonna move them to the bottom, and now I can change them to whatever color that I want. I'm also gonna go back and group all the remaining shapes together, and I can also move them around. So I decided to fill in the shapes with the pink color and the hearts with a black color. So this is me just playing with different colors to see which one really matches the pink. And I finally decided to just put everything in black. So now I'm gonna move the hearts back to their rightful position, and then I want to create a rectangle. I'm gonna use this rectangle to represent my glass can. So I want to make sure it's the exact size that I got the measurements in, and then I'm gonna move all the designs and the shapes into this rectangle to make sure that they fit in nicely. So first I'm moving the hearts, and then next I'm gonna add the other shapes. So this just helps you align everything properly before cutting. So I'm just gonna go ahead and adjust everything to fit in the rectangle, and that's what it's gonna look like on the glass. So I just wanted to see how that will cut, and I'm gonna change my page setting to the grid. I always want to use the grids because they're like a representation of your cutting mat. So you want to see how this will cut out on the mat. So I'm gonna separate the shapes by color because I'll be using different color vinyls for each for the shapes. So next I have my Silhouette Cameo 5, which I'm going to be using to cut out the vinyl. I turn it on, and then I decided to use or to go with this color for the hearts, and I was a little like conflicted between what pink to choose or to use, and I ended up going with this pink. So I always measure my vinyl just to make sure I'm using the right amount and not to waste any vinyl. So I'm just gonna go ahead and measure this and later cut it out. I'm just gonna speed up this part. And once that's done, I'm gonna go ahead and align all the vinyls on the mat. So first I'm placing the pink vinyl, and next I'm gonna be placing this vinyl. So after doing this, you want to make sure you use your squeegee and smooth out everything before inserting into the machine. And once that's done, you're gonna start cutting. So you're gonna head over to your computer and click send, and once you click send, it's gonna start cutting. So this is gonna take a while, so I'm just gonna go ahead and speed up this whole process. As you all know, the pink part has a lot of shapes, so it's gonna take a lot more time than the other part. So once this was done, I'm gonna peel it off the mat, and then it's time for weeding. So this is pretty easy because as you can see, the hearts were very sparingly placed. And I'm gonna use this transfer paper and pick up all the hearts, which I'm gonna use later for layering. So I want to use my squeegee and smooth out everything and make sure that the transfer tape is picking up every heart. So my preferred way of doing this sometimes is just flipping the vinyl over, and rather than lifting up the transfer paper, I'm just gonna very gently roll off the vinyl backing paper. So I'm gonna do that really gently and make sure that the hearts stay on the transfer paper. So as you can see, not all the hearts stayed on the paper, so I used my weeding pen to fix that. And once that was done, I went ahead to remove part of the backing that was left on some of the hearts using my weeding pen. You want to be very careful with this. Now it was time to weed off the other shapes, starting with my flowers or with the flowers. I'm just gonna speed up this process because this takes a while, as you can see. At this point I was like, should I just go in with the solid shapes? But you know, they already had this cut out, you know, lines on them, and I didn't know how that was gonna look on the glass, so I just decided to go in and weed it, even though I knew it was gonna take a lot of time. Yeah, but at the end of it all, I thought it was worth it because it really turned out so beautiful. Then I was gonna go ahead and weed off all the excess vinyl from the balls as well. And I'm also gonna speed up that part. So this can be very time consuming. So you really want to make sure you're ready for this. Yeah, and that was it. Look how beautiful this turned out. So next I had to use a parchment paper for layering. So as you can see, the parchment paper is a little transparent and you can see through the shapes really nicely. So you know exactly where you're placing the other shapes, making sure they're well aligned. And you want to use your squeegee. Once you know that everything is well aligned, you want to use your squeegee and just, smooth out everything. And you can take off the parchment paper and gently place down the other shapes. So once you're done layering, you're gonna go ahead and use your squeegee again to smooth out everything and make sure everything sticks on the transfer paper. And once you're done with that, you wanna again carefully try to lift up the backing, hoping and praying that everything stays on the transfer paper. So carefully roll that out while using your squeegee if necessary. And luckily everything stuck really nicely on the transfer paper. So everything is well aligned. Our design is ready for application. So we're gonna go ahead and put our glass on the stand and carefully place the transfer paper on the glass. Use your squeegee to smooth out everything while rotating the glass on the stand. So you really want to be careful with this step. And once you get to the end, you want to use your squeegee and just, smooth out everything one last time. And once that's done, it's time for the reveal. Look at that. I think this stuck really beautifully on the glass, and the tiny details of the shapes really sit pretty on the glass. I also think the color combination really worked out perfectly. And that's it. You can always save the transfer paper for later and use it for other projects. And this is what our glass looks like after the vinyl application. I think this really turned out beautifully. And that's it, guys. This is how you apply adhesive vinyl to a 16-ounce glass can. So thank you for sticking around, and let me know what you think in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more crafting videos. Until next time, this is Sergi Studio, where we create, craft, and inspire.